a lot.
Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. So a while ago I watched a video by redvelvetsus where she basically discussed the things that she disliked about various fandoms, and it inspired me to make my own video where I give my opinions on different K-pop fandoms. I know in the title I said that I'm going to be insulting K-pop fandoms, but I'm not actually going to be doing that. I'm just going to give my own opinions on the good and the bad of each fandom. However, I will mainly be focusing on the issues that I have with them rather than the positives. I can't talk about every single K-pop fandom in existence for obvious reasons, so I'll mainly just be talking about fandoms that I'm part of and have a somewhat strong opinion on. So if a fandom that you wanted me to talk about isn't here, I'm very sorry, but the reasoning behind that is probably because I'm just not too familiar with that fandom. If you want to find one fandom in particular, there will be timestamps in the description box that you can use. As always, big fat disclaimer, I am fully aware that the things that I'm talking about are not labelled to the entirety of a fandom. As I said, I am part of most of these fandoms, and I know that there are many people within them who are actually really nice and chill people. This is just a very generalised picture and is purely about a select group of fans. Nothing I say reflects on the artists themselves, and this video is also not supposed to be hateful. It's not supposed to be attacking anyone. It's simply me stating my opinion and addressing some issues that I think need to be dealt with. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's just get into it. Of all of the K-pop fandoms that I've been part of, the Blink fandom is the one that I've been part of for the longest, and I can say that I really don't think it is the, war zone that a lot of non-Blinks make it out to be. Nonetheless, I do think it is one of the more toxic fandoms, and I have actually a lot of issues with it. So the first problem is that Blinks tend to be really defensive and just oversensitive. I'm not going to sit here and say that Blackpink get no hate, because every single member, particularly Jennie, has a massive hate train behind them who will crucify them for literally breathing. And it's honestly heartbreaking, but it has got to the point where some Blinks will get offended and call you an anti for the dumbest reasons. Believe it or not, I've been accused of being a Blackpink hater twice, even though I literally ult Blackpink. The first time was when a group of Blinks called me a Jisoo hater and an OT3 stan because I said that 20 plus seconds is actually a good amount of lines. The second time was when I commented on a video called Blackpink's How You Like That, but the instrumental is always the same. You gonna like that, da, 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 how you like that? I thought it was funny because the instrumental sounded sad, and then we had Lisa saying bada bing bada boom 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 over this really sad sounding instrumental, so I said as a joke, when Lisa said bada bing bada boom boom boom, I felt that. And I had so many people replying to me saying, wow, she doesn't sound like a Blink, she's insulting the lyrics of the song, and I'm just like, can you not take a joke? The next problem that I have with Blinks is the fact that they are constantly misusing the word mistreated and using the idea of it in ways that aren't appropriate. I've mentioned this before, but mistreatment is when a person or group of people are abused or denied of their basic rights. Not getting enough lines or getting bad stage outfits is something annoying and it can be unfair, but you cannot compare those kind of minor issues to mistreatment. YG's inability to give Blackpink a good amount of comebacks, although in recent times this issue has become a lot less prominent, is really annoying, but it is mismanagement rather than mistreatment. And the reason why I'm applying this to Blinks is because they especially tend to misuse this term. Something that I will also never understand is why some Blinks pit the members against each other and try to make it a competition as to who is the most mistreated. Like, you realize mistreatment isn't a good thing. It's just so dumb, but we've been new. The next problem, and yes, there are more problems, is Blink's tendency to get involved in fan wars, especially with ARMYs. Like, the groups themselves aren't fighting over petty little things like music video views, so why are you? It's just stupid and pointless. And finally, it is undeniable that Blackpink's fandom is polluted with solo stans. And you know what? If you want to just stan one member of a group, I'm not going to tell you not to. But hating on the other members and then going ahead and calling yourself a Blink when you don't love and support all of the members just isn't it. However, despite these issues, there are some positive sides to the fandom. I've come across a lot of very nice Blinks who just want to support the girls and their successes. There are many Blinks that I can get along with. Blinks are also really good at keeping Blackpink relevant, and though I'm not someone who streams on a regular basis, I can appreciate a lot of Blinks' dedication towards streaming and just in general making sure Blackpink doesn't sink under the waves despite their lack of comebacks. And as I said, Blackpink have been getting way more comebacks lately, which is something I'm really happy about. But even when they got very few comebacks, they were still really relevant and they still got loads of views. So I have Blinks to thank for that.
And let's go! Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night.
I haven't been in ARMY for a super long time, as I only started standing BTS in February, but from my experience, I really don't think the fandom is anywhere near as bad as people make it out to be. That being said, I do not have Twitter, so I could be completely wrong. Anyway, if I were to have any negatives towards ARMYs, it would be that I really dislike how they like to get involved in fan wars so much. Obviously by they, I don't mean all ARMYs, but as I said before, ARMYs and Blinks are always at war over stupid things like broken records. Speaking of the relationship between ARMYs and Blinks, can we please stop with the Bangpink ships? Like, members looking at each other for 0.2 seconds is just a thing that happens. It's not them being so obvious and proving that they're in a relationship. But anyway, I've also heard that ARMYs tend to fight with EXO-Ls a lot, probably because BTS and EXO are two of the most popular boy groups at the moment, and again, I really don't see the point in it. I don't stan EXO, but I know that they haven't said or done anything that would imply they have anything against BTS, and vice versa, so like, what's the point in fighting? But to be honest, my problems with ARMYs end there. Again, it might be just because I haven't been in the fandom for too long and because I don't use Twitter, so I haven't been exposed to all the worst parts of the fandom. But I really don't think it is that bad. As for positives, I feel like the ARMY fandom is really loyal and they're just also supportive towards the members and their music. I also tend to find ARMYs making the best crack videos. Fun fact, I actually started standing BTS because a video titled BTS being extra AF in America arrived in my recommended, and it was one of the funniest videos I'd seen in a long time, so I was like, maybe I should just learn their names, and it just went downhill from there.
You got me feeling like a psycho, 우리 보고 말해 자꾸 다시 안 볼 듯 싸우다가도 붙어다니 more and more 멈추지 못해 more and more 그러니 한 번 더 I wanna.
I obviously know that Twice and Red Velvet are very different groups, but I wanted to talk about their fandoms together because I basically have the same thing to say about both of them. I feel like many Onces and reveluvs like to take pride in the fact that they're super non-toxic and peaceful fandoms, but the truth is the fandoms are neither of those things. Yes, of course there are a lot of nice people in the fandoms, but sadly there are still many toxic fans, and I've noticed that a lot of reveluvs and Onces like to jump at the chance to hate on Blackpink, even when the conversation doesn't involve them. For example, I once saw a Twice MR removed and literally all of the comments, or at least the vast majority of the comments, were people saying, at least this is better than Blackpink. Better than Blackpink, honestly. Why y'all hating on Twice when you could be talking about how bad Blackpink is at singing? And just stuff like that. And it annoys me so much because If you hate Blackpink so much, why do you insist on bringing them into every conversation? This is especially dumb because the three groups are literally friends. Like Irene and Jennie have been spotted multiple times in restaurants together. Hun. I also feel like Onces and reveluvs, as well as just girl group stans in general, are the type of people who will be all like, hashtag feminism, hashtag stan women, but then they will completely drag the female idols that they don't like just because it suits them, and nobody likes a hypocrite. But as I said, overall these fandoms are not that bad, and as part of both, I've easily been able to avoid the worst parts of them.
I go up, helicopter, then I make hella noise for the takeoff. I go up.
Once again, I definitely don't think that cheshires are the worst kind of fandom, but there are also a lot of them who seem to suffer from the underrated group syndrome. That is something that I just made up, it's not a real thing. These kind of people think that standing a group that is seen as underrated makes them quirky or superior to other K-pop stans and people who like more popular groups. They're also the sort to try to force the group onto others purely due to the fact that they are underrated. This doesn't help the group in any way, because marketing a group just because they're underrated rather than because, I don't know, they have good music or the members are talented and likable, will honestly discourage people from wanting to stan a group and make people more annoyed by the group than anything else. It also just makes people seem stupid when they put themselves on a high pedestal just because they choose to support groups that aren't always the center of attention. These kind of stans are also typically the kind of people to call groups like BTS and Blackpink overrated just because they're popular. And this doesn't just apply to cheshires, it applies to a bunch of different fandoms. For example, insomnias, but overall I haven't come across many annoying cheshires like this. We're just talking a very select group here. Whilst I stan and like both Mamamoo and G-Idol, I am aware that they have said and done some problematic things in the past. That isn't stopping me from standing them, but I'm also not going to sit here and pretend that it's okay for them to do the things that they have done. However, there tend to be a lot of moomoos. I'm sorry, I can't get over the fandom name moomoos. They really named their fandom name after the sound that a cow makes. Anyways, there tend to be a lot of moomoos and neverlands who refuse to hold their faves accountable for their actions and will even tell people that they're not allowed to be offended. Telling people how to feel about certain situations, especially if they involve things like cultural appropriation, is quite disgusting and is never okay, and you have no right to just dismiss issues if you're not part of the culture in question. I've also seen some Neverlands being really oversensitive in a similar way to Blinks. Once I saw a MR remove video, once again, for Uh-Oh, and whilst I know that the girls of G-Idol are relatively stable on stage, the vocals in that video just sounded too perfect. It sounded very pre-recorded, and someone pointed this out in the comment section, saying something like, "I know the girls are very talented, but to me this sounds pre-recorded." And they immediately got attacked with people calling them haters and telling them to leave. Like, some people just need to calm down, you know, maybe sit down, drink a glass of milk, or oat milk if you're vegan, or I don't even know. Just calm down, okay?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's pump it up.
Now you can probably tell where I'm gonna be going with this one. That's right, let's talk about the Stan Luna epidemic. So I honestly don't have a problem with people using Stan Luna as like a meme. There have been a few times in the past where I've just gone into like games and stuff and just told people to stan Luna and just to see how they would react. But there is a point where the meme gets excessive and starts to get annoying. As I said already, trying to force a group onto someone will just make them annoyed by the group and will discourage them from standing, if nothing else. There are also times when Orbits have used Stan Luna in really inappropriate and insensitive ways. For example, when people post about really tragic incidents and losses, and people have simply replied with, maybe if they stan Luna this wouldn't have happened. I don't even need to explain why that's a disgusting and insensitive thing to do, but I'm also aware that it's not always Orbits that say these things. A lot of the time it's just members of other fandoms or non-K-pop stans posing as Orbits and being toxic just to make the fandom look bad. One thing I do like about the Orbit fandom is that I feel like they're one of the most funny and chaotic fandoms out there. I've linked this video before in one of my unpopular opinion videos, I think, but if you haven't seen it, I really recommend you watch Orbit's Wilding Out. I'll probably link it in the eye in the corner or in the description, I don't know. Yeah, that video just made me laugh so hard and it made me love the Orbit fandom even more. So yeah, even if you're not an Orbit, like, I recommend you watch it because it's really funny. Anyway guys, this has been a really long video, so I'm just gonna leave it there. I may make a second part if I can think of any other problems within fandoms, but for now this will be it. As I said, I'm part of all of these fandoms and I know that not all of these fans do these things. This is simply a very generalized picture where I've spoken about the issues I see in each fandom. Let me know what you think of this video as well and your opinions on various fandoms in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!